Did you hear about the microchips in the cheese? I'm gonna have to check that out right now. Goddamn government cheese. This company is implanting microchips in its cheese. Oh wait, this is a real thing. Oh my god, wait. This isn't a conspiracy. There's a company that's actually microchipping their Parmesan. I thought this was going to be like one of those 15-minute city agendas. Bill Gates is controlling my mind via microchips through COVID. They're actually microchipping their cheese. One of the world's most famous cheese is also one of the most counterfeited dairy products on the planet. Competing manufacturers have for years produced cheaper imitations of Italy's Parmigiano Reggiano, a favored topping for pasta and salad. Now the producers of Parmigiano Reggiano say they have innovated a way to prevent any pretenders from ripping off their product. Is there only one company in the world that makes Parmesan? Who do they have like a patent on it? Like who owns it? There's an entire page dedicated to it called The History of Parmesan. Italy issued a decree that placed exclusive control over the production and sale of this cheese in the hands of Parmigiano Reggiano Cheese Consorzio. Oh, what in the world? I had no idea the Parmesan lore went so deep. It's even crowned the undisputed King of Cheese. This is an incredible story. This is like the Game of Thrones, but for cheese. I'm gonna have to go through that entire history breakdown of Parmesan. There's probably wars fought over it, like Helen of Troy. They weren't actually battling for Helen. She just happened to have Parmesan. They were going to war for that shit. Good God. All right, let's read about these microchips, though. Parmigiano Reggiano Consortium, the PRC, association that oversees production of the cheese, says it has been putting microchips in its product as a part of a technological trial which would allow consumers to trace Parmesan cheese back to its place of origin. Who's doing that? What sane, normal human being is gonna try and trace back their Parmesan? Like, I'm not gonna go to a, like, Italian restaurant, like, with my buddies, and they get, like, spaghetti. They start sprinkling the Parmesan. I'm not gonna, like, slap the waiter's hand down and be like, wait a minute, let me see the microchip. I need to trace this back to make sure it's coming from the PRC. Otherwise, I'm having this establishment shut down. I'll have the Parmesan police force come after you. Like, I could maybe see it being on a company side, like if a restaurant's ordering Parmesan, giving them the option to see if it's, like, authentic coming from the approved place of origin. But just a normal consumer, I don't think anyone's gonna get suspicious and want to double check. Like, let me ensure my Parmesan came from the right spot. Under special protections designated by the European Union, Parmigiano Reggiano is the only kind of cheese which can be called Parmesan within Europe, and it must be made in a small part of northern Italy, including in the provinces of Parma and Reggio Emilia. I saw that. In my massive dissertation that I pulled up for a moment there on the history of Parmesan, I did see about, like, it needing to come from a certain space and nowhere else. But I didn't realize it was a title that could only be bestowed upon, like, this cheese from this particular region. I thought it was just a type of cheese that anyone can make. PRC are hopeful that their new technology will help to enforce that protected status. Their microchips are about the size of a grain of salt and have been inserted into the labels found on the rind of about 120,000 wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano. The chips work as a scannable food tag with a QR code label. I'm going to start tracing my Parmesan. I'm going to go to my local grocers, and I'm just going to trace all of their Parmesan. I'm going to be a hall monitor for this shit now. I'm going to be like a secret agent working for them. This feels so weird. Like, I just can't imagine there's a ton of cheese snobs that are going to double check to make sure they're getting authentic Parmesan. Produced in the right places of Parma and Reggio. In an email statement sent on Friday, Nicola Bertinelli, president of Consorzio Parmigiano Reggiano, told CBS News that by being the first to incorporate these secure digital labels onto our cheese wheels, we can continue to ensure customer safety. Since the establishment of our consortium in 1934, we have worked to convey the value of our product globally and distinguish it from similar-sounding products on the market that did not meet our strict requirements for production and area of origin. They speak about this like it's the goddamn Citadel in Mass Effect. Since the establishment of our consortium in 1934, Nicola, it's cheese. I really just don't think there's a ton of people that give a fuck. Now, I guess I didn't realize how serious business cheese was. I'm curious. Let me see what my local grocer has for Parmesan, because there's definitely different brands, right? Like, there's not just one Parmesan brand. Oh, this is big news, too. If you just type in Parmesan, there's news stories out the wazoo about the microchips. The headlines are a little misleading. Classic fear-mongering, I guess. The microchips aren't actually in the cheese. Apparently, it's in the label. So you're not going to consume the microchip unless it somehow bleeds into the cheese from the label. And if that's the case, then Parma, whatever, the PRC have got some big problems on their hand. Yeah, there's so many different brands here. There's no way they all come from the same place. And they all call themselves Parmesan. A secret cheese invasion. I don't know, man. This is very odd. In the United States, Parmigiano Reggiano does not have protected status, and American manufacturers in states like Wisconsin make different forms of Parmesan. Okay. I see. Man, they must be pissed about that. They have got to be so upset. And this is the worst time in the world to be using the word microchip. Parmigiano Reggiano, like the official PRC producers, they have chosen the worst possible marketing strategy by saying they're microchipping their cheese. People are freaking out about microchips existing in their goddamn water supply. Toilet bowls with government surveillance. Saying that we microchip our cheese for your safety, that you're scaring people. You're fucking scaring people. They need a new head of their marketing department, because that is a big L. They're struggling with that one. Big Parma. Yeah, I mean, this is serious business. This is Big Parma. Outside of the United States, the Parmigiano Reggiano Consortium successfully blocked the U.S. food giant Kraft Heinz from registering the name Kraft Parmesan cheese as a trademark in Ecuador in 2022. Parmesan is different than Parmigiano Reggiano. They age differently and made in different places and taste different. There's a name for a cheese sommelier, right? They have their own name, and it's a really cool one. Hold on. Because maybe it's time that I try and get into the high cheese society. So that way I wouldn't even need the microchip. I'd be able to taste where it was aged. In a fine oak barrel while listening to Mozart. Cheese has its own cutthroat version of the Court of Masters sommelier. In hopes of gaining cheese certification, he sits for the American Cheese Society, ACS, Technical Aesthetic Sensory Tasting Evaluation Test. Taste. This is codenamed Kids Next Door type shit. I like that. In 2018, only 30 applicants passed the taste test. If that weren't daunting enough, the American Cheese Society also offers the title Certified Cheese Professional, CCP, which means that an individual has acquired thorough knowledge and level of expertise that is demanded within the cheese industry. Those who pass both earn a lengthy array of letters after their names. The ACS, the CCP, the ACS, CCSE. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm writing this down. I want me and the team to try and pass the Cheese Society taste test. Where a person's individual palate is subjective, the process of evaluating cheese is not so much. It's not personal preference, but knowing if that cheese is within the parameters of the style it is and what the cheesemaker intended, says Shari Allen, ACS CCP, ACS CCSE, and cheese educator. A cheese educator? Oh my god. We're in the future. Is that a major you can take in college, you think? That'd be hype. The test is rigorous. One part of the exam entails identifying 10 vials of milk on scent alone. It's all about aroma, explains Evan Brown, ACS CCP, ACS CCSE. Do you think they write this down? Like when they're just signing papers or something, when you put your name and title? Do you think they have the chutzpah to write down all of these? Knowing that no one's going to check? What could be so difficult about a cheese test? For one, a grading sheet might have 60 possible descriptors and a cheese might only seem to need 1 or 2 to describe flaws or attributes. Others might register on over a dozen descriptor scales. And to top it all off, it was like a multiple choice test with 60 choices for each question and each choice needing an intensity score between 1 and 5 and no guidance about how many right answers there could be. This picture goes hard. A mere 20 minutes ago, I was ignorant to how deep and serious the world of cheese was. It's like the John Wick universe, but for cheese.